Hello guys, good day and welcome. In today's lesson, we look at reflection of shapes. We have looked at translations and lines of symmetry and the transformation geometry. The next of our transformation geometry topic is reflections. Now in mathematics, reflection simply means flipping over a shape. So you can be given a shape and be asked to reflect over a given mirror line. At home, if you stand behind the mirror, we see a reflected image of ourselves in the mirror. So us who are behind the mirror refers to the object. In math, that will be the object, and the reflected image or the reflected picture we see inside the mirror will be called the image or the reflection. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to reflect a given point or a given object or figure over a given mirror line or over a given axis. We can either reflect over a mirror line or over an axis in cases where our axis refer to the mirror line of reflection. All right, now looking at the shape we have on the screen, the triangle, we see that our triangle has got 3 points: this point, that point, and this point here. All right, to reflect in math simply means to flip over, as I've already said. So we are going to flip over this triangle over this mirror line. So the line by which we are over which we're drawing the image is called the mirror line. Okay, now to flip over, assuming we hold this part of the triangle and we pull it over the line to this side, what is going to happen? We realize that this point here, if we flip it over that way, it will be somewhere there. After the line, how many squares do we count? We have like 1, 2, 3, right? So same way, when we flip it over, we have 1, 2, 3. So this point moves to this point here, and we're going to have our new point at this place. Got it? Great. Now this second point here, if we also flip that over, we can see that it is only 1 unit from the mirror line. Therefore, when we flip it over to this side, it should also have only 1 unit like this. Got it? Great. So that point here, this point we have here, then comes to this point. All right, the last point, which is on top here, it's also 1 unit from the mirror line. Therefore, if we flip it over the shape, it should also have only 1 unit. Therefore, that point will also be there. So we draw our new image this way. Make sure you use your ruler and draw this very neat. All right, so we have our flipped or our reflected image like this. Do you see? All right, so what do we see here? It simply shows that we have flipped over this shape. It's like we held this part and we pulled it over to that side. So this is reflection over the given mirror line. Got it? Great. Now let us look at this. We have this rhombus drawn here, and we are going to look at how to flip this over different mirror lines and over the axis. We know that this horizontal line is our x-axis, whilst this is our y-axis. So if we are to flip this shape over the y-axis, let's try the y-axis first. Over this line, this is the y-axis. It means we are going to flip this shape and it's coming this side. Got it? Great. So we're going to have this point here. How many units is it from the mirror line, the y-axis here? When we count, that is 0, we have 1, and we have 2. All right, so when we flip this over to this side, starting from here, we should have 2 units because we counted 2 squares from the mirror line here. So we have 1 and 2, and our point will be here at this place. Now, second point, let's take a second point there. Assuming we take the point up there, this point here. Okay, now looking at that point, how many units is it from the mirror line, the line of reflection? Counting from the line of reflection or counting from that point as our origin or starting point 0, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So after the reflection, we should also have 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our point is going to be this place. Trying to get it right there. Okay, yes, let's take it. Yes, that place. All right. Now we take another point. We can now look at this point here going anti-clockwise direction. So that point, it's how many units from the reflection, the line of reflection or the mirror line. So from there, we have how many squares? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 up to the mirror line. So we do the same. 0 there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 here. So we have our point that side. Okay, then finally we have this point down here. So that is also the same as the point on top, and we can look at the distance and plot our point here. So when you're done, do not forget to join with a ruler, and we get the same, the reflected image. So if this point was A here, it looks like this point is now this side, so the reflected image A1 will be seen here. Got it? Great. Now, if the same image was to be flipped over the x-axis, remember what we did was over the y-axis, because this is the y-axis, and we flipped the shape over the y-axis to this side. So the shape was flipped, or it jammed only the y-axis here, right? Now we're going to try the same thing and let the shape jump the x-axis, this x line. So we want the shape to jump the x-axis, which means it will fall in what quadrant? 3 seconds of thinking time. Back in 2, 3. All right. So if your guess was the second quadrant, then your answer is perfect. If we flip this shape over the x-axis, it is going to fall within the second quadrant. All right. So let's try that. Okay. Same way we looked at this reflection over y, reflection over x, we check in the same way. What is the distance? We're starting with this point. The distance from this point to the line of reflection or the mirror line, which is the x-axis, it's only 2 units, 1 and 2. So same way you count 1 and 2, you then plot your point. Come take this. How many units? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 here. This is 5 units, which means that when it gets to the other side, it should also be 5 units. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 there up to that side. So we plot this place, this side there. All right, you don't have to draw the line, but it all shows you that is the distance between them should be equal, and that is how or where you should draw your point. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That point there. Okay, now we're done with this point. We're done with that point. We come down, we take this point here. So same way, the distance, we check the distance from here to the line of reflection. That should be the distance from the line of reflection going that side. So we can see from here to there, we have how many units? You can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units. So you count 8 units from the line of reflection, which is the x-axis, going up there. We are going to have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So our point will be that side. Then finally, this point we have here, it is how many distance is it from the line of reflection, which is the x-axis. There are 5 units. So same way, 5 units like this, you will plot your point. Okay, so let us look at something. I'm noticing something here which is looks like an error. Yes, because we plotted one point not in line with the other. Let's go back and correct that. That is this point. This point here, it's on this line and not on this line, the second line here. So always make sure that your points are responding to each other. Okay, so that point should have been this side. Good. And now we have the last point here. So when we draw this, we are going to have a perfect rhombus with all the sides equal to each other, like that. So you can now draw lines to indicate the distance. This to this is 5, to that this corresponds to this. This line corresponds to that line. This line corresponds to this. And finally, the line here corresponds to that line there. You don't have to show the lines, but you must be able to know which point from the object corresponds to which point on the image. Get it? Got it? Great. So what I want you to note here is that whenever you are reflecting any object, look at the mirror line given to you. Is it the x-axis or the y-axis? Or they gave you a line of reflection. It can be any. They can draw a shape like that, ask you to flip the shape or reflect the shape over the given mirror line here. So this shape will now flip over to that side and you have something like that. Got it? Got it? Great. Always the object and the image should be the same in reflection. After reflecting, you are only flipping them over. So the size of the object and the size of your image should be the same. Got it? Got it? Great. Now I want you to try out the following. Pause the video and try work this out. You are reflecting the given objects over the mirror line. If there is anything you didn't get, you can leave a comment. I will be glad to assist, or you can reverse the video and watch the 2 reflections we did today. Reflections over an axis, which is the X or Y, and reflection over a given mirror line. All right. Have a great day further. Bye. You can refer back for the answers